A look at Kevin Smith's 25-year career, including his feature films, television, animation, comics, hosting, and philanthropy projects. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back into another video, and today is another South by Southwest review. Don't worry, we won't have too many more. I can tell by the reception from yesterday's video that not a lot of people actually want to watch these, so we only have a few more left. But today we're reacting and talking about a documentary that I saw that I actually was very excited for. It was one of the most anticipated things for the festival for me, and I ended up really enjoying it, and that of course is the documentary about Mr. Kevin Smith. Today we are talking about Clerk. I've only ever seen one Kevin Smith film in my life, and it is Clerks. Clerks is the one Kevin Smith movie that I've seen, but I loved it. I thought it was fantastic, and I have always been very interested in the man that is Kevin Smith, so this documentary was a very fresh look at him, his career, and everything in between. So I think without further ado, let's just kind of get into it. I mean, the first thing is the story and the storytelling. It's told mostly through his films. You know, it's the timeline of his films, and then philanthropy and things that he did after he's still doing films, but not as frequently. He talks a lot about his podcasting and appearances and stand-up and stuff like that. And that was very interesting because it shows the story of someone that doesn't want to just be held to one thing, doesn't want to just be known as the guy that makes movies. He wants to be known as someone that does everything. And then that's something that I love, because I feel like at some points we all feel that way. We don't want to be known for just one thing. We want to be known for everything that we do. And Kevin takes that and just, you know, I mean, I've seen a lot of his stuff, and not the films, but the stuff he's done past that with podcasts and reviews and hosting and stuff like that. And it's just brilliant the way that he's been able to build up a career past just making films. And it was just learning about that, because I already knew some of it, but really diving deep into it, getting it from the source himself and him talking about it, it's just fascinating. And the way that the story is just a very interesting story. Kevin Smith's a very interesting character in the film space, and his films are definitely very interesting and unusual, but there is a niche for that. They get a cult following, and I understand it, and it's fantastic. So I was really interested in the story. The way the story is told is very interesting, how we hop back and forth between, you know, actually talking about the films and talking about life. It's not just a documentary about his films and his filmography. It's a documentary about him. And that's something that I think is done very well. The other thing is the interviews. They got a lot of really awesome interviews. So one of the main things about this film is the fact that Kevin has helped and jump-started a lot of people's careers and lives, and that was one of the main points that was being made throughout the documentary, was that fact that Kevin, you know, not only helped himself, but he helped a lot of people along the way. You literally have Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, and I believe those are interviews that were filmed for this documentary. I don't think that they're like secondhand, because there were some secondhand interviews from them, but I truly believe that those two interviews were actually filmed for this documentary. I could be completely wrong, but it looked like they were. And they are both attributing their success and getting a chance to Kevin Smith. Ben Affleck sits there and he says, I wasn't given a chance to be a lead guy in a lead role, and Kevin gave me that chance. And to have people like that talking about Kevin in that way, it's just admirable, because it's true. He's given the opportunities to so many people because he's made low budget films. He's given a lot of people the spotlight, and it's propelled a lot of people to fantastic careers. And that was a point that was hit in the latter half of the documentary that I really liked. I really liked it. I thought that it was something that was very important to touch on, because, this isn't all just about Kevin. The documentary is about him, but his story is about the people he's affected along the way. It's all been positive. It hasn't been negative, which is absolutely fantastic. I also learned a lot that I didn't know. I did not know that Kevin Smith was married. I did not know that he had a daughter. I did not know that. But we get to meet his daughter, his wife. They give really good interviews as well. I think the daughter, who I believe his name is Harley Quinn Smith, which I thought was very funny and clever. She gives a fantastic, just her entire interview, because they do the entire interview and cut it up. All the sound bites we got from her were very insightful, and really just they added a lot to the story and to the documentary, because I didn't know that he had a kid, and I didn't know that he had a wife, which is absolutely fantastic. It's directed really well. I know that Kevin on Twitter has been giving all the credit to the director. It's fantastic. The way it's edited and brought together is just so fun. It's a fun documentary. All of Kevin's films are very fun, to the core. They're very fun. And this felt kind of like a Kevin Smith-like film. It was a very fun documentary. It was very quick cuts. The editing is really fantastic. And again, like I said, the way we were able to cut through, the films and then back to real life into interviews, and all of that was just so well done. The technical aspects of this film in general are just really, really good. And that's kind of the last point I wanted to make, was the fact that it's just a very well done documentary. It really is. And it's not boring. It's it's almost 2 hours long, but the pacing flies by. You're just hanging out, having a good time, and you're learning a really interesting story about someone who I would argue is a giant in Hollywood. I know he probably wouldn't say that, and I know maybe not a lot of people would really say that, but I think he is to the status of he is a giant in Hollywood. He's done a lot for a lot of people. He's affected a lot of people, and he's made his name in so many different avenues, not just film, but so many different avenues. And this documentary is just a brilliant painted picture of the life and legacy of Kevin Smith. And when it comes out, because I know it will eventually, I don't know if anyone has the distribution rights or what any of that is, but whenever it comes out, I would highly recommend you go check it out. It does touch on a lot of different topics. It goes into his heart attack. It goes into, how he's, tried to get better with health and stuff like that. It goes into all of his films and his philanthropy and how he's helped other people as well, and how he wants to help other people. And it talks about his legacy and how he's going to be remembered. And I love that. I really do. There's some really some great quotes in this documentary, and they hit, and they're very poignant. And I really enjoyed this documentary. I'm not going to get into too much more. There's not a lot to really talk about because it's just a really, really good documentary. And yeah, I think without further ado, let's just kind of get into the point breakdown. So, entertainment, I gave it a 22 out of 25. I had a really good time. Performances, 20 out of 20. Direction, 10 out of 10. The writing, 10 out of 10. Emotions, 10 out of 10. Cinematography, 9 out of 10. Pacing, 4 out of 5. Rewatchability, 5 out of 5. And an automatic 5 out of 5 points. That means if you did the math, I gave Clerk a 95 out of 100. This is a very solid documentary, like I said already, on a, I want to say character in the Hollywood world, but he's not. He's a person on a very, just very well-known, just big person in the Hollywood world. And I'm very fortunate to have been able to watch it. Again, it was one of my most anticipated projects at Sundance, and it lived up to the hype. Whenever it comes out, make sure you go check it out. It really is, it deserves the time of day. Y'all should go watch it. But guys, that's pretty much it. Let me know down below in the comments, what is your favorite Kevin Smith movie? That's what I'm going to ask you down in the comments. Let me know. I mean, I've only seen Clerks. I have a few others on my watch list now that I want to go watch because I've seen this documentary. But I've only seen Clerks, and I really, really liked it. So let me know down below in the comments, what is your favorite Kevin Smith movie? Go check out my website, FinaticFilmReview.com. I have not been posting a lot over there because I've been doing a lot for Music City Drive-In. But I'm going to try to put some stuff out there soon enough. But also, if you want to see more of my written content, go over to MusicCityDrivein.com. I did all my South by Southwest content over there. I did a written review of Clerk over on that website, so make sure you go check that out when you can. Go over to my Twitter and my Letterboxd to check out immediate 2021 movie reactions and reviews. I had a review for Clerk up right away, and Mr. Kevin Smith actually liked my review of Clerk. So thank you if you're watching this, Kevin. your support for this, for my review and stuff, means the absolute world, and I think you're fantastic. And I'd love to talk to you about the documentary if you want to come on the channel. You know, I'd love to talk to you about your career and all of that. I mean, if you want to. But yeah, guys, and the last thing is just subscribe. If you want to. It's free. It doesn't cost anything, and it really helps the channel. It really, really does mean the absolute world. But guys, that is pretty much it. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next video.